How do you get people's attention? Attention is not necessarily about designing a wonderful logo or using wonderful fonts and typography and colors and all that. All that is important, but it's not going to get people to pay attention to your business. The reason is because every other person is doing it. Every single person have a wonderful logo. Every single person have a wonderful font. Every single person have a wonderful typography. So doing those things is not going to help you stand out from the crowd. Now, attention is about not being ignored. What is the thing you're going to do that is not going to get you ignored in the market? The market is a vast place, and there are it's so noisy that even if you design something wonderful, you can get enveloped in the noise. So there are four demands that the market is going to place on whatever it is you create, whatever product or services you offer. And if you pass through these four demands, you will be paid attention to. Number one have to do with the content. The content talks about this product or services you've created. Does it solve a problem or does it offer a solution? If you're trying to solve a problem, you're doing it all wrong. You should be focused on offering a solution. And here is the difference. Every single thing that is called a problem is a deviation from normal functioning, right? But if a problem is left unsolved for a long period of time, it becomes the normal. So most times, if you design your product or services to solve a problem, you're trying to solve a problem that have become normal, and people are not paying attention to it because they've gotten used to living with this problem. So you should rather be focused on offering a solution rather than trying to solve a problem. And here is what offering a solution means. Every single person have a pain and a pleasure receptor. That means they have things that cause them pain or they have things that cause them pleasure. But they usually place the responsibility of pleasure on themselves and the responsibility of taking away pain on others. That means on a daily basis, there are things that cause people impediments to normal functioning, to normal activities and all that. These are the current things that they call a problem that you have to offer a solution with your products or services or whatever it is that you do. So rather than thinking solving a problem, you should be thinking offering a solution. And how you know that this offers a solution is if this moves people away from pain or it moves them towards pleasure, but more on the moving them away from pain. The second demand that the market is going to place on your products or services to determine if it's worthy of attention other than the content is the context. The context talks about the environment on which you place this product or services. Now, most of you create wonderful products, mind-blowing inventions with some of the little things you do and all that. But you place it in an environment that have no attention because you believe that you have to develop attention for your product. You don't develop attention per se. You place your product or services in a place that already have attention. That is exactly what ads means. That is what it means to run an ad. To run an ad simply means to place your products or services in a place where people pay attention to, which is social media. But other than that, if you sell something that belongs to a supermarket, you sell something that belongs to a store, you sell something that belongs to a place, find the 20% of those places or supermarket or whatever that have the most attention and make sure that your product or services are there. Because to get attention, you need to place your product or services where there is already attention, not trying to invoke attention on your own. So they're going to place a demand in the context, that is the environment this thing is found. The third demand that is going to be placed on whatever it is you create is the connect. Talks about the connection. The connection this product or services makes with people. Now, most people create products or services that have no emotional connection, no feeling attachment, because people necessarily don't pay for the product or services that you create. They most importantly pay for the feelings that it gives to them in return. So how do you make sure that they get the feeling component of your product or services? How do you turn what you created into a feeling for people to purchase? Very simple. Every single person on earth have a connection of some sort of a date or an event in something they call important. Probably birthdays, anniversaries, or whatever. Christmas, whatever dates that have a profound and a significant celebration that invokes memory. You want to attach whatever it is that you create to that thing. If you find most of the biggest brands that exist, what they do is to attach what they created to some sort of an event, to some sort of a memory, to some sort of a memorable, something recognizable that it's difficult for your mind to do away with the emotional connection. For instance, Coca-Cola are known for festive periods. They advertise mostly during the Christmas and some of those festive celebrations. And some of the shoes you wear, some of the food companies, they are connected to some birthdays, some important, memorable celebration that is connected to an emotion. And if you can do that with whatever it is that you create, people will pay attention to it. So if you're running ads on Facebook, you're running ads on Instagram, you're running ads on any platform, what you want to do is to make sure that you target the people who have birthdays for that month, who have anniversaries for those months. Those are people who have memorable emotional connection to the month, and you won't sell to them so they can pay attention to whatever it is you do. Now, the next demand that the market places on whatever it is you create, your products and services, is the contrast. Contrast talks about the difference. Now, there are lots of products in the market, but this stuff you just created, what is the difference between it and what exists in the market? What is the difference? How is this a better alternative to what it is that we already have out there? And there are two ways that this demand on difference is being created, and this also helps you as well. You should understand that, first of all, you're the first difference in your business. You're the first difference in your product and services, not something else. You might be into content creation, you might be into fashion, you might be into anything. The difference between your fashion and someone else's fashion is you. The difference between your food and someone else's food is you. You're the first difference in your business. Now, if you find it difficult to manifest any form of innovation, any form of competitive advantage to add to this thing to make it different, it's simple. It's just a function of the fact that you have not exposed your mind to quality information. You have not exposed your mind to how things are done recently. So the next thing I need you to do is to find the top companies, as far as your industry is concerned, that is focused on creating innovation for that field and industry, and pay attention to the things they are currently doing. What this does inevitably for your mind is that it exposes it. It creates an opportunity for you to integrate uniquely the exposure that you just have to create something innovative. Now, you might not have the resources to pursue their innovation, but what you're trying to learn from that exposure is the principle that governs the innovation, not the innovation itself. Because if you can replicate that principle on a smaller scale in what you do, you'd have a semblance of that innovation. So you're the first difference, and you should start exposing your mind to the innovative components and content that are available in your industry. You shouldn't be left behind. The social media have made it possible for you to be exposed to every single climax of information that is available in your field. So follow those people and expose your mind to them. There is one profound way that people can tell if you're different from everything that exists in the market, and it's called consistency. Now, there is an experiment I want you to perform in your free time and all that. If you place probably four different balls or four different lightning, let's say yellow lightning, white lightning, blue and green lightning, and you keep changing this lightning to different kinds of lights, and then you just leave one, probably the white light, consistent, and you change every other one. After a while, the ones people pay attention to is the one that doesn't change, the one that have remained consistent over time. So one way people determine difference in the market is what products or services have been consistent with time, not necessarily the one that try to do everything all the time. So you want to be consistent with something that people can recognize. So it's an irony to actually understand that staying the same is the way of being different. But the same doesn't mean that you don't have to improve on anything. You just have to be consistent on the quality of value you deliver. And that is one way people can pay attention to you. Even if you're creating content, you're a content creator, you're anything at all. If you keep doing the same thing that creates value consistently over time, it's just a matter of time that you get attention from people. Now, that is how to get attention. And these are the four demands that are placed on your products or services and if you satisfy these demands, people pay attention to whatever it is that you do.